Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. Today, we are talking about synchronicities, or what is known as the secret language of the universe. Now, there are some people out there who still believe that things are coincidence, but scientists, not just the spiritual people, seem to disagree nowadays. And to confirm that, I would like to quote Carl Jung when it comes to the different definitions of synchronicities, because Carl Jung is trusted in the spiritual and the scientific community alike, and so that's a credible reference. Yeah. So according to Carl Jung, synchronicities are events connected to one another, not by strict cause and effect, so they defy the laws of probability. A synchronicity is a coincidence where an external event mirrors an internal one, hence it's not a coincidence at all. Carl Jung believed that synchronicities mirror the deep psychological processes and carry messages the way dreams do. So they're made of that same fabric of dreams, and the event is meaningful because what happens in the external world is reflecting or mirroring something that's happening in our internal environment, revealing this deeper connection between our inner world and our external reality. It's like the universe is offering you insights. It's like a wink from the universe, it's like tapping your intuition, tapping that subconscious mind of yours. It's providing you with an insight on your life's journey or the path that you need to take, offering you some sort of guidance, or maybe revealing to you a lesson that you still have to learn. So it's always happening for your own benefit. And this shows that the universe is always on your side, even when it feels otherwise. So there's a beautiful quote that I read by a professional intuitive. I love this one as well. He said that synchronicity is, in my opinion, the best method at getting a second opinion from the universe on your own intuition. I really loved that. That was really, inspiring. So according to Jung, he believed that synchronicities emerge from the collective unconscious as opposed to the individual consciousness. Why? Because it's showing us that interconnectedness that we are all a part of, because we are all part of this cosmic dance. We're all part of this fabric, and our interconnectedness that binds us all together will reveal itself in one form or another. And this can be in the form of interaction or this interplay where energy and the dynamics of energetic connection will show in the form of messages that will reveal themselves to us through certain circumstances, maybe certain objects, certain occurrences, in the form of dreams, maybe in the form of serendipitous events in which we meet certain people whom we might have not been thinking about for a long time, and they suddenly pop out in our lives at the right time for the right reasons. So it's showing us that there's this hidden order and mysterious intelligence that's orchestrating the events of our lives. And it also challenges our traditional notion of linear time and cause and effect. This is showing us that the universe has a sense of humor. It actually plays with you if you learn how to play with it, if you learn how to speak that same language. So the subconscious mind here, we have to remember, plays a very important part in decoding synchronicities, because the subconscious mind is the one that picks up patterns, picks up symbols. That's why subliminal messaging that we find in advertising and in movies, it can be dangerous because it's being directed at our subconscious mind, which will bypass our conscious alertness. So the subconscious mind interprets symbols, interprets messages. It's the one that draws connections between things, between events, between circumstances and occurrences and objects. It can relate different things together, different aspects of our lives, of our reality together. And once it interprets those, this is when we have a certain program that may develop in our system, whether it's for our own good or it's not. So that's why the synchronicities in the universe are important to detect, because you don't want to be bombarded with subliminal messages from somewhere else, from distractions that may affect you in ways that you don't want them to, that are not good for you. This is why staying aware, being alert, expanding our consciousness is very important, doing the spiritual work. So today we're going to talk about the different forms of synchronicities. I'm going to continue to explain their significance. We're going to learn more about how to decode them and why are they important? How can we make use of them in our lives more and more? And how can we make the dance between us and the universe more intimate so that we become one and the same? After all, we carry the universe within us. So from a psychological viewpoint, synchronicities will help us notice the power of our minds beyond our understanding. It's the ability of our minds to speak to us in dreams or connect the minds of our minds with others' minds across time and space. This is why we do quantum healing. This is why it works regardless of space or time. I can do a healing at 8 in the morning and program it for you to receive it at 2 a.m., while you're sleeping. So time and space are really irrelevant when it comes to the language that we speak with the universe. So when you're busy working, for example, or cleaning up or working out, sometimes you might get a text from a person all of a sudden whom you haven't seen in a long time, and you're wondering, why is that person texting you? But then you might reply, you might reach out to them, they might call you, and you'll have a conversation in which that person will have a message concerning something that you might have read in a book a day before. So that message is important as a complement to that insight that you already received. It's guiding you towards a certain action you might need to take, or you might have something to offer to that person in terms of help that they may need. This depends on the dynamics, on the energetics between you two, and what it is that needs to be revealed, whether in your journey or in their journey. Synchronicities suggest that there is something in the cosmos that is interested in our development, something that understands what is lacking in our reality, in our lives, in our conscious view, and the entire universe becomes this great, beautiful mechanism for reminding us of our wholeness, reminding us that we actually carry the universe with all its knowledge, with all its beauty, with all its mysteriousness within us. Hence, knowing thyself, right? Because by knowing thyself, you start uncovering those layers and discovering those layers of an onion that are infinite, one after the other, peeling those layers one after the other so that you know your deepest self, you know who you truly are. Of course, when it comes to synchronicities, your spiritual guides, just like the universe guides you, your spiritual guides, they will provide you with these messages. So when we talk about messages from the universe and who the universe is, the universe will communicate to you in different ways, right? And one of those ways is dreams. Another way is through your spiritual guides. And these will start to happen more often as you become more spiritual, as you do the work. And when we say spiritual, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily following a certain solid path. No, it means that you're making an effort to dig deep within yourself. And of course, there are several tools and practices that help you do that, right? So there is not a single path that is the right path. There are many paths to the top of the mountain. So it's about you choosing what resonates with you. So your spiritual guides will regularly send synchronicities that help nudge, like helpful nudges about your destiny, as invitations for healing, for personal growth, for personal development, for paying attention to maybe a new aspect of yourself, paying attention maybe to the role of your multidimensional selves when it comes to their mission in this world. So spiritual guides will assist you in navigating every aspect of your earthly lives, so you can receive practical guidance that will help you. And this will be in the form of sending you certain signs, certain objects, certain symbols you may need. So I'll give you an example. When I was first starting my spiritual coaching business, when I wanted to start this mission, and I didn't know what to have as a logo. So I was invited to this dinner and I went to buy a gift, just like a dinner gift, and there was this shape in that home decor place that kept pulling me. I couldn't help but go and buy it. And I bought it not knowing what it was. I was still at the beginning of my spiritual coaching journey, and I wasn't really into sacred geometry yet. I was studying a whole bunch of other principles and studies that were as important for my journey, but I wasn't into sacred geometry yet. Anyway, I brought the symbol home, and it turned out that that was a double Merkaba, and I had no idea what a double Merkaba was. And the funny thing is that a few days before that, I had asked an archangel to send me something, a sign that will help me upgrade my spiritual knowledge and my spiritual path. And this was exactly what I needed. And then that double Merkaba became the logo that you see today, which is a dodecahedron. It's called Metatron's Cube. It's a dodecahedron. It's golden in color, and you see it in my posts. So that was a great synchronicity, for example, among so many others that happen on a daily basis. This is just to give you an example. So the different forms of synchronicities can be repetitive numbers that you see, symbolic animals that you come across. It can be chance encounters with people, serendipitous events. It can be prophetic dreams and visions. So the universe communicates to us through so many different channels. And we pick those signs up either, like I said, through our senses or through our higher senses, like when you become clairvoyant, clairsentient. You develop that inner knowing where you and the synchronicities become one and the same. You don't need to interpret them anymore because they're right there, like in your face. You know, the message is so clear. You don't need to sit there and try to think about, what does this mean? What is the universe trying to tell me? Should I go for this or should I not? So these are some of the different forms. The most important thing about synchronicities is that they're asking you to slow down. They're asking you to pause. They're asking you to contemplate. They're asking you to get to know yourself better. This is where meditation helps. This is where alignment is key. This is where embodying your truest self becomes very necessary and very important, because it's like the universe looking at you and shaking you up sometimes, telling you, hey, it's time for you to get to know yourself. It's time for you to trust yourself. It's time for you to have more faith, more confidence, if that's what you need at that moment. So when you encounter, for example, repetitive numbers, and some people say they are angelic codes. Now that's a different topic that we can dive into at a later point. If you're seeing that repetitive numbers such as 1111, 333, 777, some people say different digits like 24, 24, or 12, 12, etc. You want to slow down and sit there and consult your intuition. Here you have to learn how to trust your intuition. This is why tapping into your heart intelligence is so important. Because by activating your heart, you're activating the powers of your heart. You're also activating your ability to detect these things, because you're developing a closer connection with your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the one that interprets symbols and interprets patterns and interprets certain serendipitous events. So you want to see, what is that number trying to tell you? You want to pay attention to how you feel at that point. Do you feel a sense of peace, a sense of joy, reassurance, or do you feel negative feelings like fear or worry? So here really you have to pay attention to the way you feel, and you have to trust those intuitive taps, right? So those intuitive hits that start coming through. Even if you see a repetitive number, let's say, and you don't know what it means yet, it's okay. Allow yourself to slow down and sit back and relax, and allow the universe to surprise you. Allow yourself maybe to contemplate and go into a meditative state where you go like, okay, what is something that is heavy on my mind? Something that's really occupying my thoughts right now, something that may be a bit heavy on my system. What are these numbers trying to tell me? It could be that these numbers are reassuring you that you're on the right path. Or if you are, let's say, really worried or really in fear, they're trying to remind you to have more trust and more faith in yourself and in the universe. They're trying to tell you, to remind you that you are more than you think you are, that you got this. So it depends on what you're going through in your life, right? When it comes to symbolic animals, let's say, if, for example, someone has passed away, you might have the tendency to see a bird. This happened to me personally. So you might see maybe feathers, or you might see a bird, or you might see a butterfly. These are usually messages that are sent to you from your loved ones who have crossed to the other side. So they're showing you that we are here and we're sending you these at a time when you might need help, or they might need you to send them some love, send them some divine healing, show them that you remember them. They're reminding you of their presence, that they haven't really gone anywhere. They're here, but they're just in a different form. So pay attention to these signs and these symbols that may appear along the way. So when it comes to chance encounters and serendipitous events that happen, when you, let's say, have been thinking about somebody and they pop out in your reality, for example, so always, contemplate that moment. This shows you that we need to live in awe and in wonder and marvel at the magic that we are a part of, right? And this will actually raise your vibration. When you're aware of synchronicities, your vibration is rising. You're tapping into higher frequencies because you're learning that language of how things actually work. So when you meet someone you haven't met in a long time, allow yourself to sit there for a moment and just contemplate, what is this trying to teach me? What is this conversation trying to show me? Is there a lesson that I need to learn? Or is this guiding me along a path where I had some doubt before, and this is my reassurance? So that person might really throw in, a title of a book that will help you decide on a new job that you need to take or a new career that you need to start. Or they might offer you help that solves a big problem that you were facing, and you were wondering, how am I going to do this? How am I going to solve this problem? And they just show up and they're the ones to help you, and that's why they've been on your mind, for example. There's an infinite ways in which synchronicities and these serendipitous encounters can happen. And sometimes when synchronicities are in the form of prophetic, they call them prophetic dreams, or these are visions. That's when you're able to foretell what's going to happen in the future. These sometimes are meant to help you and to reassure you and to give you the emotional support that you need. For example, when it comes to visions about losing a loved one, or indicating that you may lose a loved one really soon. So when this happens, it's like preparing you psychologically so that the impact of the event is not as harsh on your system. So this is the way in which the universe or your guides or the angelic beings are trying to help you, to ease you into the feeling that you might be facing. This is going to make things easier for you. This is like showing you that, hey, you are not alone and we are always here to help you. Sometimes the prophetic visions are very happy ones, very joyful ones. And this is already, they're like filling you with excitement before the actual event happens, which is also absolutely amazing. Everything that happens is for your highest good, whether it's good or whether it's bad. The synchronicities are there to help you out regardless of the nature of the event, whether it's a sad, harsh event, or whether it's a happy, joyful, exciting event. So this is just for you to be reassured that you are never, ever alone, and there's always help by your side, and that the universe is always speaking to you and communicating with you. When you get into the spiritual work and you start digging deeper into yourself, you realize that at some point you'll be having these conversations with the universe, just like you're speaking to another person. You'll just start talking, you start, having these conversations and getting immediate answers. And it's so beautiful because it's as if the universe is becoming more human, showing you that, hey, we understand one another here. When it comes to certain animals, this is an example I wanted to give. When I started becoming more familiar with the details of my astral travels, more cats started appearing in my life. And cats are actually great at astral work. They do a lot of work in the astral, and they're also very protective guardians. So it's no coincidence, of course. It's a synchronicity that when you start becoming more active in the astral, or becoming more aware of the nature of your astral travels, you will have these guardians pop out and help you out, So this is just an example of how these synchronicities work. Also, to give more examples of animals, when you, let's say, start seeing a hawk more often, this will indicate you soaring into new heights. So, this might align with what you're going through. Or if you're seeing a butterfly, this might coincide with your transformation, or showing you that you are, especially if you're going through a hard time, see a butterfly that undergoes, butterflies undergo metamorphosis from a caterpillar and they become beautiful butterflies. So it's that cocooning process that you might be going through right now, going through the challenge. And it's just a reassurance that you're about to emerge as a butterfly, rebirthed. If you see a hawk, that's about clarity of vision, that's about soaring to new heights, also maybe entering a new phase. If you happen to see owls, that's a sign of more wisdom and also navigating the dark. So more knowledge maybe that you might attain or you might need to attain. So always allow yourself to sit back, maybe go into a meditative state and learn about what is this trying to tell me. Now, when it comes to decoding synchronicities, always remember that you want to approach things with a sense of playfulness, with a sense of curiosity, as opposed to forcing a meaning and sitting there and squeezing your mind and trying to say, what is this trying to tell me? What is this trying to tell me? You know, the universe will clarify things for you, even if you don't get them. So allow yourself to sit back and watch these signs come through and wait, maybe, wait for a surprise. Allow the universe to surprise you when it's hard for you to decode the meanings. However, I will mention a couple of ways that are going to help you decode the meanings of synchronicities that you might come across, whether it's in the form of numbers or encounters or certain symbols or animals that you might see or certain things that you might see in your dreams. So in order to decode messages or synchronicities, the messages that are coming from the universe, you want to develop a deeper relationship with your own self. You want to get to know yourself. This is why I always remind people that alignment is the key. When you align your thoughts, your emotions, your body, you get to know your heart on a deep level. You activate that power of your heart. And this is what I offer in the Ultimate Alignment Program, because it shows you how to do all this, how to align with your deepest self, how to align with your soul. And this enables you to have a more open connection with the universe, to have this more intimate dance. Like I said, I love this, the cosmic intimate dance. So this is one of the ways, right? Alignment. Allow yourself to slow down, allow yourself to be present in the moment. In an age where it's so easy to be distracted, it's so easy to be bombarded by a lot of information from here and there. It's so easy to be distracted by browsing, YouTube shorts. That's the example that I give, where every YouTube short is talking about something different. So your mind becomes all over the place, as opposed to developing some sense of focus, or having some sense of clarity. Allow yourself to clear your mind. Allow yourself to be surprised. Also, what you can do is journal. So once you start seeing and becoming aware of these synchronicities, have what we call synchronicities journal. Start writing them down. When you start getting dreams that are happening, or dreams with certain symbols, with certain signs, also start writing those down. This way you'll start eventually noticing that there's a pattern to the messages that you are receiving, and this will help you to decode things faster. So you always want to approach things with an open mind. You want to allow yourself to trust your intuition. This is where people face a problem. They don't trust their inner knowing. They always want to consult somebody else. There's nothing wrong with consulting somebody else, but this will disempower you at a certain point. You want to be able to trust the messages that you're getting, the way you're interpreting them, and you will know by the way you feel. So many people are what overtakes them is doubt and hesitation and lack of confidence in their own abilities. This is why it's very important for you to be empowered and to receive that energy of empowerment, so you can really trust your own inner knowing. You can really trust your interpretation of what these messages are revealing to you. Of course, alignment work, meditation, the practices, these will allow you to get to that stage so that you don't have doubt anymore. You don't hesitate. You'll know exactly what's going on, when you enable you to develop that deeper relationship. You can also research the meaning of certain symbols. For example, if you see a weird symbol, you can Google, what is that trying to tell me? What is its meaning? When I started becoming aware of myself as a starseed, So a starseed is when you realize that you belong to different lives on different planets, and many of us are starseeds, if not most of us. You will start getting messages. I was walking on a pavement in a country that I was visiting, and I stepped on like a Merkaba looking star, and it said starseed, and there was no other tile like that in the whole road. So I removed my foot, and I was like, oh my God, if I had any doubt, this is my reassurance. And this means that, I have to learn more about what I'm capable of doing. So this also led me to explore the meaning more, and to do more research, and to get to know more about what starseeds do and what their role is in the universe. So, for example, you might encounter a white feather. That's the angels reminding you, or reassuring you, or helping you out, or showing you that, hey, you're not alone, we're here to support you. So usually people become more aware of synchronicities in pivotal moments in their lives, where they're having these turning points, or where they're going through tough challenges. That's because your survival instincts are more heightened. So you pay attention, you become more perceptive, and you pay attention to things more. So the universe here will do its best to help you out, even when it seems otherwise, even when everything is going against the wind, everything's going against the flow of the water. This is all for your highest goods. You might want to be aware of any limitations you have in your thinking. This will help you change the way you think. It will help you become more aware of the limitations that you have that you might have not been aware of before. So pay attention to what this is trying to tell you, even if you don't figure it out right away. So it's very important to allow yourself to create that space, and allow that space for the universe to help you out. Also, one of the ways in which you can help yourself become more aware of synchronicities and develop a deeper relationship is to engage in active imaginations. So what you want to do is, let's say if you see a symbol, or if you see a symbolic animal, or if you come across a number, have a conversation with that symbol. Slow down, be present, align with the present moment, and sit there and have a conversation with that symbol, and see what messages you get. What are they saying to you? So engaging in this active imagination is actually of great significance, because this is a real conversation. It's a heart-to-heart conversation with the universe. So you're trying to listen, and you're showing the universe that you're actually listening to what it's trying to say to you through that symbol or through that number. You also want to have faith in the wisdom and the guidance that you are receiving. Having faith is so important, and having faith in yourself is above all, because this is your journey, and every person will receive unique messages. So there is no such thing as everybody receives the same, right? So if you don't see repetitive numbers, that doesn't mean that the universe is not speaking to you. It's just speaking to you in a different way. So pay attention to different kinds of things that might come across, and never think that, hey, synchronicities don't happen to me. Every single thing in life that happens to you is actually a synchronicity. There are zero coincidences. Every single person you come across is meant to be there for a reason. It's once you become more aware, more awakened, you will realize the role that that person is playing in your life. That's why do not take any person for granted. Do not take any happening for granted. Yet approach everything with a sense of curiosity, a sense of playfulness, a sense of humor, without force, without resistance, without being anxious, and without being doubtful. So with an open mind. And of course, remember that synchronicities are not a substitute for taking action. Synchronicities are like your guide. They're like the compass provided by the universe, showing you the direction that you need to take. But it is your responsibility to do your own work, your own inner work. You are responsible for your own transformation. So what synchronicities will do is inspire you, so that the action you take is actually an inspired action. And that's the best way for you to take action. Take it from a place that is inspiring, as opposed to, this purely mental, I have to do 1, 2, 3. Let it come from a place of high vibration, a place of motivation. And what better motivation can you get than from the universe itself? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Happy synchronicities. Take care.